You go.
Okay. All right. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hope everybody's doing okay. You guys ready to get started? We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. So CJ, you just sent out some revised minutes. Linda, have you seen those minutes?
Just got them. I just got them.
Okay.
Yeah, we can take a minute or two if everyone wants to look through them real quick, just to make sure they're okay. And then we can vote on them.
Okay.
The only thing I see missing is, and I don't know if this needs to be included in the minutes or not, is the, under other business, number 5C. Is there any reason to add the comment that Steve made about sending postcards, to consider the idea of sending postcards to people when they buy historic structures to introduce them to the preservation opportunities? He mentioned that when we were talking, let's see, yeah, it was, I don't know if it was under the 150th or I can't remember whereabouts he mentioned that.
I think he was, what I recall, he was, something they did in Park County is they monitored who bought, I think, historic structures. And then I don't know if it came out of where out of Park County it came and who would monitor those types of purchases. But I think he was just mentioning it was something they did over there to try to make people aware there was such a thing.
Yes, but I think that it was brought up as a possible idea of things that we could also do. And I don't know if that's something that needs to be included in the minutes, just as a reminder to revisit that at some point or not. I don't know.
I think in theory, I don't know, it might be a good idea, but it boils down to who would do it. And yes, maybe you want to revisit it. We can, seems to me we could revisit it and just.
It's something to revisit, that's all.
Okay.
And I thought that was a pretty good idea, and I don't know what the logistics of that would be, but it'd be nice not to lose that idea and maybe revisit it at some other time.
Okay. What does everybody else think?
Amy, I apologize for putting you on the spot, but you most recently revisited this meeting. Do you recall kind of where that was or what that discussion point was?
But I didn't, I guess I didn't, I don't know where, under which thing you put under, but.
You know what? I have my notes from that last meeting, and unfortunately, I think he put it, it was would be under 5C, the 150-year anniversary, I think, is where it was brought up. But.
Right. And since you're going to already be making a slight revision to 5C, if you could reference the A250C150 as the organization that he's been going to.
Okay, what's it called?
So it would be when it says Mr. Clute has attended a few meetings, those are it's called A250. C150.
And there's no dash?
Nope, it's just one big thing.
Okay.
And that's where he's been collecting all of this information about the 150th anniversary.
Okay, so Mr. Pleasant attended a few meetings of the A250, C150.
Yep.
Okay, I'll add that. And then, let's see. And then that he mentioned sending postcards to,
Suggested to consider contacting new owners of historic structures via postcards to let them know what preservation opportunities are available. And so that's just where we have to figure that out.
I can rewatch.
But I thought that was a good point that he made.
yeah, I know he said they do that in Park County, but
Yep.
it got very confusing about how we administer that.
Yes,
Like who's
there's a
gonna
lot of
watch,
questions.
who's gonna watch the Teller County property records?
Yep.
Because those aren't updated super fast.
I don't know that we can do this, but that's how they do it in Park County with a lot of success.
Linda, how does 4D look to you?
Well, there's a whole lot more there, so it looks okay to me. The thing that I really wanted to see in that section was the conversation about the scope of work, and it looks like it's there.
Any other comments about the minutes,
I don't think so.
corrections, additions, deletions? We good?
I think so.
Okay, we need a motion to approve them.
I motion to approve.
Thank you.
Yeah, can I second, even though I wasn't at the meeting? How's that work?
Eric, you have to because there's only 3 of us.
Second.
So we have a first and a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. Okay. Cool.
Just as far as clerical stuff goes, I'm gonna have Linda sign it as the vice chair, Lori. Since
Sure.
she's in today.
Okay.
If you have to have them signed and you can't wait for me, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
easy that way. I don't wanna bug you any more than
No.
I already.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. No public hearings. I understand there's been some movement on the Roberts House and the grant update, and Linda's been working with CJ on that. So Linda, CJ, take it away.
Okay, well, I met with CJ, there's a number of things. I met with Ann McCleve of History Colorado, Charisse Boozma, here Ann, if you want to write her name down, who is a preservation grant writer, at the invitation of Chuck Severance out at the Divide Depot. And I believe that date was, got too many papers here. So June 24th. Let's see. There we go. What day was that?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Late June.
Late June, I can clarify that date. Oh, here it is. Okay, the meeting was June 20th with Charisse and Ann at the invitation of Chuck Severance. We met out at the Divide Depot because Chuck and the preservation team for the Divide Depot had already scheduled a meeting. And it was, and Chuck thought there'd be value in me being there just to see what the process was for the preservation process. And it was really a great meeting. I learned a whole lot about the process of grant applications. And then I coaxed them after their meeting to meet with us on site. Steve Clute was there at the Roberts House. So we went from Divide to the Roberts House. And their recommendation was not to go forward with a structural assessment, but to rather the first grant application be a planning grant. So I prepared meeting notes and sent it back and forth. I think I included you, CJ, and got their comments on the process of the planning grant. So then I met with CJ. I don't know the date of that. After that, at which time we decided, CJ and I decided that we would schedule a meeting, a Zoom meeting with History Colorado to go over the list of things to do and clarify the grant application process. And that was this morning.
Mhm.
And so basically it comes down to 3 grant applications. The first one being the planning grant. And CJ and I just rewrote the to-do list, so it's all identified in here what should be included in the planning grant. The second one would be a non-competitive grant that gets us to $50,000, which would prepare the construction documents that we come up with in the planning grant process. And then the third grant would be to actually complete the work for the restoration. So that'd be the 3 grants, which would also be a competitive grant. So the first one's non-competitive, the second 2 would be competitive grants that would be applied for in at the History Colorado's timeframes. So that's what.
Yeah, and as far as changes go to the to-do list, everything that Linda and I changed today is in red. So if you guys want to take a quick look at that. So specifically for number 2, you know, if you were to ask me, where are we right now on this to-do list? I would say we can check off number 1. And that's really about it as of right now. So Steve and Linda put together a PowerPoint and kind of a Word doc and sent it to History Colorado regarding the period of significance. They liked what they saw, but they definitely need more information. The Roberts family sold the property in 1938, and that's kind of when Steve, he didn't include anything else as far as research goes in what he sent to History Colorado. So they want more information on what happened post 1938 to see. I think they kind of just want to eliminate everything they can to make sure, okay, this is the exact period of significance, you know, that we're aiming for. So what was it, 1915
to 1938.
So that was 1915 is when the Roberts family bought it, and 38 is when they sold it. So Steve's kind of aiming towards that time period. So
they want it brought more up to just all the way up to present type of thing, or at least up until the city got it.
Information. He just didn't include it in the original period of significance narrative, but he has the full line of ownership from 1938 to present. And I have talked to him, and he's going to rewrite the history from 1938 to the current to point out the differences of the occupants that came after the Roberts compared to when the Roberts lived there. So
as far as next steps go, Steve and Linda will work on that and send that over to History Colorado, and then they'll give us notes back and all good. So we just, you know, number 3 is, you know, receive written confirmation of the period of significance. So whatever notes they give us, we'll go and turn that into information that we can use for the non-competitive grant for the planning grant.
So it sounds like it was an invaluable meeting and meeting up with the History Colorado folks.
Yeah, it was great.
To hear straight from the horse's mouth and how to walk through the process.
Exactly. And like, you know, what we kind of emphasized, I think, is that we don't want to put the cart before the horse again, because we don't want to waste anyone's time and getting a grant application put together that's going to be denied, right? So I keep in constant communication with them. So that's why we're asking for notes on the period of significance first, and then getting those notes back and then applying for the grant, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And now that I see this, CJ, it was hard seeing it on your screen. Item number 4 and item number
Yeah. it's-
7
it's
is kind of the
redundant,
same.
And that's what I was looking for, but I ran out of time. And
Yeah.
we
So I
just had
think-
about 20 minutes this afternoon working
Yeah,
on this.
so I think item 4 shifts to what's under item 7,
Yeah.
because that comes after the planning grant.
Okay. Hey, you've spent a lot of time on this, Linda. Thank you. And CJ, you guys have made some real progress getting us kind of untangled in all of this.
So Linda, do you want to move number 4 to number 7?
Yes,
To get through the non-competitive grant application first, receive
Yes.
that money, get the as-bills,
yes.
and then we can kind of,
Then we have to decide what to do.
right, then we kind of regroup, get
Yes,
together as a team.
uh-huh.
Okay.
And can I have that card back? Because that's my only card for Ann. But the other thing that I want to bring up regarding the Roberts House and the grant applications is I'd like the HPC to consider using funds in our budget to hire a preservationist grant writer. And that's who this Cherise Uza is. And she is exclusively a preservation grant writer, and she's had great success with her grant applications. And so since we're looking at 3 applications here, I think it would be nice to have somebody who knows the process and knows how to succeed at it. And this is the woman to do that. After our meeting, I contacted her and asked her approximately what she charges for these application preparations for these grants. And for the planning grant, it's between $1,500 and $2,000. And it's all based on how well we inform her, how prepared we are, and how quickly we respond to her questions. But she typically can prepare a grant like this in 3 to 4 weeks. So we have every opportunity to get this planning grant out before the end of the year, which then allows us till the spring to prepare for the second grant application. So
Linda, you said 3 applications. Would we need her for 3 different?
I think so.
So that'd be like
But the-
6,000?
I think, I don't know what the cost would be for the additional.
So for right now, for this year, to the end of the year, somewhere between 1,500 to 2,000.
Yes. And I
So-
believe,
I was just going to ask CJ, so maybe, do we know what's left in our budget?
That's not so much the issue. Your budget's in good shape. It's
Okay.
the expenditure for something like this. We run into 2 things. One is, what is our purchasing policy? And I think this is a dollar figure that's sufficient that we potentially need more than one quote on it. But this is where I don't, because we're planning, we don't purchase a lot of stuff. So I'm just not as in tune with what that is and what that looks like. We also have an in-house grant writer, so that's something that needs to be considered. And then the money that's in your budget was actually earmarked as the match for a grant, not for writing said grant. So I think there's some nuances there that need to be navigated. And I wasn't aware of this for us to have done, some research in advance to be prepared to talk about some of those answers for you today.
Okay, but our experience just with Kimberly is we're not moving, and we're kind of stuck in the mud with Roberts, and we're just trying to look for ways to move forward, I think, Karen.
I
So,
understand
Steve, did you have
if
something?
we,
I did, actually. I totally agree with Karen on the in-house grant writer. She is very, very good at what she does. So and this is what's really disturbed me this past year and a half is, we have a great grant writer, but this group does not utilize her the way that, she is, she's 4. And, with that, it's aggravating to me that, we're talking now like, possibly $6,000 to do these grants when we have a person that's in-house that, it's not gonna cost us anything, and that's an expert in
We
grant
have,
writing.
we have requested her presence at these meetings. She has not come. She
Okay,
did not
well,
help us.
here's,
It's not like we're not utilizing her. We were asking for her help
well,
and we're
here's
not
the
getting it.
thing too, is that, how many times, me being the, whatever that word is, liaison person, I can never pronounce it right, but, how many times have, either Lori or Steve Pluth or Mr. Black come to me and said, hey, this is what we want to do. Now, isn't that part of my job?
Yeah,
Is it not part of my job?
yes,
So if that is, then, you don't realize that, I can go to this person and say, hey, this is what we want to do. We need a grant writer for this. And it will get done. But from my experience for this past year and a half, that has not happened. And for me, it's very aggravating.
well, you've missed
Okay.
quite a few meetings as well.
Well, yeah, I have.
So that would facilitate those conversations.
So,
I
but,
think in the past too, as far, I just look at it from the staff perspective as well. We could do a better job at communicating that to Kimberly as well. The last time this grant application went through, it was very like, oh, we need to do it right now, because the deadline was coming up because, it was the wrong grant. And I just think a lot of things were missing and not planned out. At heart, we're planners, we need to plan these things out, and I like what we're doing here because we have a plan in place.
I'm perfectly
Right,
fine
so,
using your
like-
grant writer, but we need her to be accessible to us.
Sure.
And,
Yeah, and I
and you
think
can't
this-
deny, we've put in several requests.
And I think to Steve's point, she will be accessible.
Okay,
Yeah.
but she has not been.
and, with anything and everything else, in the world, how do you approach it? From my understanding and everything, Mr. Pluth is the one that's been doing the grants, correct?
Yes, because that's the
Okay.
only one available to them.
Now with him, how many times has he actually physically gone to the city's grant writer and said, hey, we want to do this grant, how can you help us? Answer that, truthfully. How many times have
Okay.
you done that?
Okay, and I appreciate what you're trying to do, but the real question is, how do we move forward? And we've taken a lot of steps towards that. And that was, the meetings we had much earlier this year with History Colorado to get very good feedback from them on the grant application that had previously been submitted. What are those next steps that need to happen? Unfortunately, it sounds like History Colorado is more than a little swamp, that it took CJ quite a while to get that meeting set up that Linda was at this morning regarding our next steps. So, a lot of it boils down back to this list of what it is we're supposed to be doing. And it looks like you don't actually apply for a grant until you get to step 6. So there's a few things that really need to be sorted out in advance of even making that application. And it's very challenging. I recognize that. But some of what does not help this group is kind of going off in all kinds of different directions periodically. And it's like, well, let's talk about this and let's go here. And it's like, well, no, let's focus on what we set on our work plan and where we want to go. So the feedback you guys got this morning, I think, is very, very helpful in terms of the number of grants we need to be looking at, the purpose of each of those grants, and how to get that moving forward. And the biggest thing at this point really is that defining thoroughly the period of significance and getting History Colorado to agree to what that is. Because if they don't buy into the period of significance, Nothing's going forward anyhow. I don't care who writes the grant.
Point well taken. And Smitty, just for clarification, we have quite a, Steve did interact quite a bit with Kimberly last fall in the effort to try to get that first grant in. So there was some frustration that happened due to the perceived unresponsiveness. So it's kind of fueled the whole, our perception of what's going on and our lack of really accessibility to her. And then without you there to understand at our meetings what was going on, it's probably been kind of a perfect storm to not come together the way we would all have liked it to come together. So to Karen's point, going forward, now that we have some clear direction from History Colorado, and Linda's got her fingers in this with CJ going forward, it seems like we're in a better place now, and we can, with CJ and Karen's help, as well as you, Smitty, when we're ready for that grant writing opportunity, I would like us to be able to keep our options open, because this year we only need $1,500 to $2,000 to write the planning grant, if I understand correctly. So if Kimberly can't get on it to meet the deadlines, it would be nice to have that option, and for us to be able to consider moving around our monies for the year. So does that kind of sound like a plan? Comments?
But I was going to say, some of what I guess one of the pieces that's not on this to-do list is really using History Colorado to get their pulse on the application itself before it's formally submitted. So there's quite a few steps in there. I know, CJ, you were telling me that you guys visited a little bit about the timing and cycles of things. So I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so as far as the first grant, the planning grant, that's a rolling grant. It's non-competitive, so we can apply for it anytime. So there's no time limit on that. From the perspective of the competitive grants, so that on this list would be step 7 and 10. I'm sorry, 8 and 10. Those timelines, those are competitive grants. So I think they have 2 a year, Linda, is what they said. So the first one, the next one's October of this year, which I just don't think is going to happen. So I just don't think we can set our mind on that. The next one after that is what I think we could aim for, so the first step would be a letter of intent, and that's due April 21st.
Well, that's assuming we've done all the work associated with the planning grant, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So if we were to set goals and, think about timelines, potentially a lot would have to happen, right? We're on step 2 right now, and we'd have to get to step 8 in order to do this. And so the letter of intent is due March 21st, I think.
March 18th.
18th.
And the
then
application's April 1st.
April 1st of 26. So that's that's where we're at there as far as the competitive grants go. So.
But meanwhile, the planning grant, the scope of work under the planning grant itself that would be done is what?
The only thing that happens in the planning grant is Chuck Severance or somebody of his expertise prepares a document showing what is there, the existing conditions.
Okay.
That's all that's all he's going to do.
Okay.
And as far as like the scope of work goes, that's what we were talking about on this list that you guys have. Linda said we want to move number 4 to number 7 because that's kind of redundant. And for the planning grant, the History Colorado is not looking at us saying, okay, well, what's your end goal here? Give us the 360-foot view or degree view of, you know, what this is gonna look like in 50 years, and people are gonna be parking here and going inside, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
We don't need that for the planning grant. We need that for the competitive grant.
Mhm.
So if we move number 4 to number 7, you know, we can get the planning grant, we can get the as-bills, you know, and then at least we would have that documentation of, okay, what's there right now? And then,
And that includes a survey. So I don't know that if the city has anything showing that property in its full extent.
do you know, Eric?
No, but I know that was platted as part of the Walmart, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that's something I could look into, right?
That's something we
And then
need.
maybe do a site plan or something, so we know the property and where the house sits on it.
At the completion of the planning grant process, we need that survey.
Okay.
To move to the next step.
Correct.
But it's not needed for the planning grant.
It's,
It's the first thing after the planning grant.
yeah, so what we need to have by the end of the planning grant phase is a complete document showing what's existing, what's there now, which includes the buildings and the property.
Do you think it needs topography
No,
for drainage or trail? The trail was gonna go through there, right?
that will be part of the next step, is how to
Does the
accomplish.
students get topography or something? I just
I mean,
wonder if I should do it
I'm
while
just
I'm there.
curious, well, anything that we can get is better than what we have now.
So under 5, Linda, we'll add 5C, and then we'll just put survey there. Does that sound good?
Yes,
Okay.
and it can be as simple as an ILC as far as the History Colorado is concerned. They just need to know what the extent of the property and what's on it. And that information is what we use going into the next phase.
Okay.
I'll be different than an ILC, but it'll be a glorified ILC. How's that?
Yes,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Okay. Anything else? Yes? I have one more thing. I would like to thank CJ, I presume. The roof on the barn was fixed.
Was it?
Yes.
No, that wasn't. I didn't climb up there or anything. Rob.
Well, you know, but you, who else we need to thank, but from what I understand, the roof is covered up on the barn.
The roof is covered up on the barn, and that's all that matters.
And I would request one additional thing.
Yeah.
For the grass to be cut, so that it's not a fire
Was
hazard.
cut?
The grass could be cut. If somebody throws a cigarette out their window, then the whole place is gonna go up in smoke. So if we could get the grass cut, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Would a lawn tractor do it?
Yeah.
Can I do it? I have a brush hog too, but I don't know how to use it. You know how to use a brush hog?
Sure.
On a tractor?
I don't know.
Our
We're
danger.
gonna get into a liability issue again.
So,
Guys, it's city property, so, you know, we wanted to fix it too, so I don't that we can,
Let me talk to Rob about that, because that's his guys that do that. It was his guys that hatched down the barn. So.
Yeah, and last year Steve asked Cindy, and Cindy got somebody over there within 24 hours.
wow.
So the grass was only cut once last year, but I think that's all we need. We can just get it
How
cut.
big, how much?
I don't know what the
Yeah,
acreage is.
I'll figure that out and then we'll know what needs to be.
Yeah, yeah.
on Templeton. I know there are things still moving forward on that. I also understand that so,
Kind of losing you, Lori.
say what?
We're losing you. You're in and out. Can you just
In and
repeat
out.
what you said about Templeton?
Yeah. We are, we're moving on Templeton. I know Linda's been out there with
Yes,
Steve, and I think, Eric, you've been out as well. Is that correct?
Steve
Am I cutting in and out?
is out there.
Oh, you were both out there? You and
I just visited them.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
she was
Steve
okay.
cut the grass last week.
Okay, thanks.
So you guys are moving forward on that.
We're trying to,
Templeton,
yes.
okay. And I also
Correct.
Huh?
Waiting on.
pursuing the purchase, of course, which mean that would be the purchase of said cemetery. So that might change some things as well. So is there any additional updates to make on that, Linda, or are we?
Well, I have talked to Eric and he's got, he agreed to our 30 days.
Linda told me, 30 days I'll have the latitude and longitudes entered into my data collector, and I'm gonna go stake those sites, because I got information from, what was
Colorado School of Mines.
the School of Mines, but she was really nice, and
Yes.
she sent me those. I haven't looked at the quality of how they're gonna work, but I need to get those in and then stake those sites out. I'll lay them out and I will do that. Now I'm probably down to 3 weeks, right?
Yep.
I'll get her done. I'll do it.
I know you will, no problem. We
Yeah,
still
that's
have some nice weather.
Take a picture.
Okay.
Anything
And-
else on Templeton?
Just seen the cemetery? The city,
City's under a contract right now.
or just the
It's not-
cemetery?
So-
No, the whole golf
golf
course.
course.
But
I
we
heard that
have,
rumor, but
Right,
I,
Steve?
yeah, but we still have,
It's been announced. It was announced at the planning commission meeting, or
somewhat, it was announced.
Was it announced at city council? I wasn't.
It was
there.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It has not been officially announced at the, it's.
Well, Smitty Council hasn't even really approved it, have they?
No, we have not yet, but at this point, there was a figure that was, agreed upon with, everything else that goes with it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that this Thursday is when it will be brought up. Am I right, Karen?
Yes, you are. I think it's actually under the consent agenda, but
Yeah.
I'm checking that right now.
Is the
Um,
secretary involved
Okay.
in that?
Yeah, item 5D is approval of a contract between the city Woodland Park and Shining Mountain Enterprises to purchase Shining Mountain Golf Course.
That's part of it. I would assume.
So if that's part of it, then that's part of it, which would make it, in my retrospect, a lot easier to work on the Templeton Cemetery. Because
Absolutely.
now we won't, the HPC won't have to go, hey, do we need this permission,
Sure.
blah, blah, blah. And now the HPC can, really ramp things up. If that is part of the whole agreement of the golf course. And if that's part of it.
Okay,
So,
yep.
it'd be-
Things are always changing, right? Okay, cool. So moving on to the preservation plan, if we're done with Templeton. Minturn. Sticking the, here, CJ?
Yeah, I think I announced it last meeting as well. I did get a hold of the city of Minturn. We kind of talked about it. And kind of going back to the Roberts House, gosh, before Linda and I met, and it was literally the day before Linda met with Winter and those people at the Divide Depot.
It was Ann, by the way. it wasn't
I'm
Richard.
sorry. And, I had a meeting with Lindsay Fleming?
Yeah,
With History Colorado too, and she, it was just kind of a check-in too, so she was kind of pressing us on the preservation plan. Kind of like, when you guys gonna get going, that type of thing, so I try to steer the conversation more to the Roberts House and the checklist, just because that's on the top of everyone's mind, and that's really what us as, staff has been working on the most, just because that's kind of the direction that you guys are kind of pushing us right now. So ultimately, there's been no movement on the preservation plan. So it's been all Roberts House all the time as far as like my work on this. So
Be thinking, either I've spaced it out or whatever, that we wanted to try to get our arms around
Yeah, the ultimate decision that the HPC has to make is we have two options for the preservation plan because I think it needs to happen. Option number one is to do it in-house and staff and HPC together write the preservation plan together and then present it to council for approval, or we try to hire out consultants. So that's just obvious, more money.
And we felt preservation plan might be a kind of a template for us.
The midterm, yes, just
Yeah,
because
midterm.
the population goes, the size of the town, their history there. There's a lot of similarities, and they did theirs all in house. I had a question because they had listed some consultants on there. Well, that was just their attorneys that they have on retainer and things like that. But yeah, that's why we were looking at that specific preservation plan. So, Lindsay, I think it was last year already when she came in and kind of outlined those two options for us. But she's more than willing to come back when we're ready to talk about this again, to do that presentation again, to kind of talk about process, what goes into it, what it is, what needs to be included. So it's like it's a comprehensive master plan, but for historic preservation. So we need goals, we need
Maybe-
objectives.
Should we ask her to come back
Sure, yeah, we could definitely do that.
to help us refocus?
Sure, yeah, I can do that.
CJ, I think the other thing is maybe identify which meeting it was that she attended and provided some of that overall information, that
Sure.
it may be worthwhile to go back and listen to that meeting again.
Yeah, I can send out that YouTube link. and
That
stuff.
may answer a lot of our questions.
We can
Yeah,
all watch
or
it.
maybe at this point it would help us have better questions
I-
for her. Now that we've had some conversation and kicked some things around, so it might help us refocus, having sharper questions to ask her. Because I think we were a bunch of deer in the headlights when we just tapped her in via Zoom, I think,
Correct. Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay, so, yeah, if we can reference when we had her and we can review what she had to say and then see when you could maybe get her back.
perfect.
Cool. Okay. Reimagining Bergstrom Park. Final concept was put together. Who got to go to the July 30th? Linda, you got to go. Smitty went. Eric, did you get to go?
I did not.
Okay. Sorry, excursion in Colorado Springs and not fun. So I just went straight home. So, anything, I think it's been on the website too. And I think the proposal is to keep the Midland Depot replica built in 1986. Is that correct, Linda?
Yes,
Okay.
I think it looks great.
Okay. Well, you know what really changed it was with the city purchasing the property there, going through, punching the road through with Tava, the getting rid of the stupid round thing and providing parking over there changed the whole complexity of that small area. Opened up all sorts of possibilities. So it became a different option and it became a totally different proposal, I think, when that happened. That's what it looked like to me.
Yep, the deceleration lane is still in there, so we're hoping that they can renegotiate that with CDOT.
Okay.
But other than that, I thought the plan looked very good.
Okay. Karen, did you have any thoughts on that?
I was just gonna add that similar to the golf course potential purchase, under this Thursday city council meeting, item 5C, is approval of that contract between the city and Beer Garden Development LLC for the purchase of those two parcels that's currently owned by Arden Weatherford.
Okay,
So that's where that is.
okay.
Um,
So this concept plan, once it's approved for Bergstrom, then the next challenge would be where the heck is all the money going to come from and how will it move forward? So I would imagine that's going to be sitting for a little while until we can find some monies or to figure out how to go after that.
Yeah,
Whether
it's a couple of things to your point, Lori. It's like, where's the money coming? So there's funding, and then there's also timing and potentially doing it in multiple phases. Just because, you know, it's a fairly large undertaking.
It's a large undertaking and it's, you know, and it will definitely involve Kimberly and trying to figure out the whole funding sources is, you know, it's you guys' hands are going to be full. Okay. Anything else on Bergstrom, guys? Okay. The youth poster, Karen, I'll defer to you because I think what I remember, we were struggling with that.
We were, and then our contact over in Parks and Rec left,
Right?
and it kind of like is just dead in the water at the moment.
Okay.
But we've got, you know, quite a few other irons in the fire that, you know, it sounds like are considerably more pressing and need some attention.
Right. And you know, that whole youth poster thing might be better served for History Colorado. You know, May is History Month in Colorado, but with this celebration, with the acronym that you clarified, Linda, in terms of Colorado's anniversary coming up, because this whole next year is an anniversary celebration. And I believe there was some interest within the city to be part of that celebration and to collaborate with the county as well. So maybe that poster gets moved to the effort in the next year, because it's this whole next year that it's the 150, right? And next August 1st is the 150. We're in the 149th now. So that celebratory effort, it could theoretically take a lot of effort, but it would be nice if these groups would collaborate, counties and the county itself, along with the city, along with HPC, along with the UPass Historical Society. It could be an opportunity for all the groups to come together. I don't want to lose sight of that one either, because I don't think it was on the agenda, right, guys, today?
The youth poster?
No, it's on it. Sorry, it's under other business. Never mind. So maybe just the youth poster can move down to under other business. Okay. Other business, we're keeping the 107 West Henrietta as a possible historic designation, and David's not here today, but I don't think there's been any movement on that.
No, I think that we could probably take that off the agenda and replace it with the 116 West Lake Avenue.
Okay.
These people are actually, I met with them, Steve and I met with them maybe the week before last. And they're quite interested in pursuing a designation. The mother actually owns the building, and the son and the daughter, or the son and his wife, are going to approach the mother who owns it and arrange a meeting with Steve and I, or anybody, maybe bring her to an HPC meeting, so we can tell her that assure her that the designation doesn't take any of her property rights away. And so they're definitely interested, and they in turn talk to their neighbor. There's 3 buildings all in a row that all could be potentially designated. And the next door neighbor is also very interested, I don't know the address, of getting a designation. So we have the potential of getting 2, if not 3 designations right next to each other, right on Lake Avenue.
Is that Conard then? Conard's the one on the end there, that's Preacher Row, right?
No, that's not Preacher's Row.
It's-
This is the
oh,
one
that's-
right on
I'm
Lake
sorry,
Avenue.
that's-
Yeah.
Is this just north of the park, Linda? What, those summer homes in there, those folks are from Kansas and yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
and then there's the one just to the east, and then there's that, they definitely are interested in designation, local designation. And then, and I've got the whole story about the 116 Westlake. Steve did a whole report. So we've got the ownership information and the history for the 116, and then we just I don't know what the address is next to them.
Okay,
To
cool.
So he's working on that.
To the east of 116, it's 112 Westlake Avenue. And then the next one to the east of that is 412 North Park Street.
Is that on the corner then?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's really exciting to think that maybe we'll have 3 structures all in a row with the designation plaque. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, there goes our budget. If that happens this year.
I think we can work through that one, Laurie.
Yeah, I know. I just being a pistol. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll remove the 107 West Henrietta because those folks apparently aren't ready to move on anything over there at the old church. Okay, and I don't think we have an update on Voss. I know supposedly the owner's doing something. Do you know anything, CJ, Karen?
No, we haven't heard from Peep.
Okay.
Is anybody interested in this 116 Westlake? Okay, I'll send it to you.
I know.
Okay, cool. And then we had the Colorado 150-year celebration, which I know, oh gosh, who was talked to in the city? Was it Nicole? No. There was some interest shown somewhere on staff. I just can't think of who it was that was talked to about being part of that. That's going to take probably some work away from our committee to try to figure out if we want to, just be a catalyst to help that happen and some ideas around that. Plus, there's that committee that's engaged in coming up with ideas too. I guess we're going to have to pick Steve's head.
Well, I've been going to the A250, C150 meetings as well. And
Okay.
just to know what that committee does, it is a group of people, and it's largely hosted at the Visitor Center in Colorado Springs. It has people from all over the community, people specifically groups from the Pikes Peak Library District, the Pikes Peak Museum, the Pioneer Museum, the person that runs the Summit House on top of Pikes Peak. It's all the people that are trying to bring attention to the history, not only the 250th anniversary of our country, but the 150th anniversary of Colorado. We bring them what we're doing as a community, in this case, a community, and they promote it. So this is a big opportunity for the city of Woodland Park to get more visitation up to the city of Woodland Park. It all happens through the A250 150 website, where they will have a calendar of all of these events, of all these local groups that are coming together and planning these historic I don't know if you call them events or whatever. So the post, if we decide to do a youth poster to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Colorado, and we can take that to this A250 150 and they'll promote it for us. if we do a parade, if we have anything that's in the purview of the 250th and 150th, they'll promote it for us. And so any person that walks into the visitor center in Colorado Springs says, hey, what's going on this weekend? If the city of Woodland Park has anything in particular going on that's relative to the commemoration of the 250 and 150, they'll say, go up to Woodland Park. They're having an event this weekend. So that's a motive to getting us to commit to something, because we get this free advertisement through this particular group. So I just wanted you to know what that group's all about.
So it sounds to me like we better just keep this on the agenda and keep talking about it, and maybe having some other conversations with some of our other.
And if the city wants to be promoted, they'll do it for us.
So has the city, Karen, CJ, have you guys had any conversation amongst staff about this coming up this next year, or going forward, or discussions about planning for this, or coming up with anything?
I'm not recalling anything. And the other gal that you're thinking of that might have been involved, Linda, would be possibly Kristen Higginbotham.
Yes, it was Kristen.
I'm sorry, Linda or Lori, whichever one was bringing
It was Kristen.
Yeah. So she would be the one to kind of talk to you a bit more
Yep.
about it.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it was Kristen. She's the one that showed some interest and thought maybe the city would have some interest, but I was just wondering if it'd come up in you guys' staff meetings or anything. Okay.
Not that I'm recalling, but I got like a million things in my head, so it might not have made
Sure.
the retention cut.
No problem.
Some of these organizations are taking events that they have every year. So I don't know what that might be. And they're switching the focus on that event to promote the celebration of the history. So, I mean, even if there's events that the city does every year, if it doesn't have to be a new thing, but if there's events that the city already has scheduled that could be skewed to include or promote the history, then we can take it to them and they'll advertise it for us. So I don't know if we are, I mean, even the Christmas parade, if you somehow say we're going to put a float in there that promotes the history of Colorado or the history of Woodland Park, because we're coming up, the history of Woodland Park is coming up on its own anniversary. So there's all kinds of things that you can do. It doesn't have to be something brand new. It just can be rebranded.
Well, I think the city became a city, I think it was 1976. So that would be an anniversary. I'm thinking, if I remember that right.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, so 1976. So what's that make it? 50?
I think 50. Yeah.
Yeah. So Woodland Park is having its celebratory 50.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a brand new idea. We don't have to come up with a brand new idea.
No. You know what? I could talk to the farmers market. Maybe the farmers market could brand something for next year, for next summer, celebrating Colorado or something. So
just communicate that, as long as I know what's going on or Steve knows what's going
Sure.
on. The next meeting with A250, C150 is September 23rd.
Okay.
And then starting the new year, it's going to be once a month.
Okay.
So.
Okay, cool. All right. I think we should just kind of keep it front and center and keep talking about it. And if I get a chance, I might reach out to Kristen. Okay, we're down to reports. I know Larry's not here, but we do have a date for the Potato Supper Historical Society up at the Pikes Peak Community Center, and it's October 10th. So October 10th is going to be the potato soup supper, and the program is still being worked on. So I'm sure Larry will have more information about that. Eric, do you have anything to share with us?
I do not.
Thank you. Linda?
Nope, I think I've covered everything.
Okay. Smitty?
Yes,
Yes'm, do you have something to share with us?
first thing is, we're going over our annual budget. Karen, did, Aaron talk to you today?
No, we've not had much of a meeting chance today.
Oh, okay. In regards to a budget for the HPC, last year, I think it was like $12,000 that the city was budgeting for HPC. Can you have any way of looking that up?
14,800, I think it was.
Was it 14?
Yeah, the biggest was the Junction House asbestos abatement, because that was budgeted for 11,900. We had 800 for the poster, 100 for the printing, so yeah, it was 14,800. If that math is correct.
Okay. So Aaron wants to know if the amount that they allocated for this year, if the same amount will be sufficient for the upcoming year.
For an initial swag, I would say probably.
How much money do we have?
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably, because the bulk of that really was our grant match for when we got into
Right.
yeah, kind of situation, but yeah.
300.
Because the other things, there was enough flexibility in there, and based on our prices and stuff that we had gotten, I think we're pretty close on the other items.
Except plaques. We might have 3 plaques next year.
I'm willing to have that problem, Linda, because worst case scenario, we have to, bump it a year or something, but, we don't even have applications in the door from folks yet. And if you've got phone numbers for those folks, yeah, please share them, or we can get you the application forms. We should probably work out a little bit more how to actively engage those folks for submitting an application for designation.
Yeah, that'd be something to, forward to Aaron, because this is budget season and we will make sure, that sufficient funds can come to the HPC.
Okay.
Okay. Second thing is, that this is my last meeting for being on the HPC. Okay, I have my reasons. It's not what I had expected for me. So therefore I'm going to officially resign, as being the liaison for, city council to the HPC. I was expecting to be able to do more and be more participating with this group, but it didn't work out that way. And so it really drew me off in regards to it, because, I am who I am and I'll say what I say, but it was like a dog and pony show of just 3 or 4 people, and that was it. I had offered several times to help out with, the cemeteries and, everything else, but I never got any reaction for it. So therefore it really turned me off. And so therefore, I am resigning from this, because I do love to work with people, and especially historical things, especially with our city. But saying that, I gave the opportunity to utilize me, but the utilization was never accepted. So that's it. This is my last meeting.
I'm sorry to hear that, Smitty. Okay, I understand. Moving on to planning. CJ, what you got?
As far as my to-do list from this meeting goes, we'll get the minutes taken care of between Amy or I. We'll figure it out. So, I'll amend the Roberts House to-do list. I hope this is the last time we do this. I think it will be. With the notes from today and earlier this morning with History Colorado, I'll ask Rob again about mowing the grass in the Roberts House. Refocus historic preservation on the preservation plan. I'll try to find that YouTube link and email it to all you guys so we can rewatch the meeting with Lindsay that we had last year. And then let's see. As far as the last meeting goes, because we did skip one, so it seems like a little while ago. You guys were asking for the scope of work on the reimagining of Bergstrom Park.
Yes.
We kind of tried to track that down. We have no documentation of that just because it wasn't in our files. So it's going to be kind of the thing where if you do want a copy of that, it's just going through the channels of the public records request.
It's kind of moot at this point.
Okay, so sounds good. Last meeting, we talked about how to make historic districts. So we were talking about Kansas Alley, Dallas Alley, Preachers Road, that kind of thing. I actually did bring that up to Lindsay during our meeting. She was super excited about that. For the 150th anniversary, History Colorado is trying to do the same thing throughout the whole state. The way she explained it to me, I just don't think Woodland Park's going to be included in that because it was all about finding historic districts for, I don't know, I'm terrible at the budgets,
Probably for that period, 150 years ago, CJ?
it was for a specific group of people that weren't, I don't know. We don't have a lot of diversity here in Woodland Park.
Oh,
So sorry, I'm just trying to come up with a PC verbiage. It's not coming out, but I just don't think we would be able for what they're doing on the historic districts. But she did say that she would definitely talk to us regarding historic districts and seeing if that's something that we would want to do in the future. So that's another future meeting possibility with Lindsay. So,
Good idea.
so yeah, that's all that I had. No really updates. Karen, do you have anything?
I don't think so. Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Okay, so our next meeting would be, what's the next meeting? Who's got a calendar?
September 2nd?
September 2nd.
It's the day after Labor Day, Lori. Is that a problem?
You guys tell me. What do you think?
It's not for me.
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
Okay, let's just go with September 2nd for the next meeting then. Okay, with that, what is it, 4:46? We're adjourned. Okay,
Thanks for
Thanks,
coming on, Lori.
bye.
Yep,
See
thank
you
you.
guys.
Bye, Karen.
Bye.